Well, good morning. Welcome to July 1st, 2024. Today, we're going to talk about the next steps in our daily Bible reading. So we're starting in July 1st. So we're actually halfway through the Bible reading this year, and this is where we're going to start. And so today's reading is where we started at, was in Psalms 96, 1 through 2. And the focal scripture that we're going to look at today is Psalms 99, 4 through 5. So even I read 96 through 102. We're focusing on just one or two verses at a time. And so Psalms 99, 4 through 5 is where we're looking at. And so what that verse says is this. It says, "The mighty king loves justice. You have established fairness. You have administered justice and righteousness in Jacob. Exalt the Lord our God. Bow and worship at his footstool. He is holy." And so I want us to look at what this says here, of how we're focusing here on this scripture. And first, we need to notice is that the king, and he loves justice, that we are to exalt him in all that we do. And so when we exalt God, we understand that he is mighty, he loves justice, and he's established in fairness, and he establishes himself in righteousness. And we know this is a big deal for us because we know of people who we see who do not do these things. But we know that our God is a God who is fair, he is kind, he is loving, he is worthy of all things, he is mighty in what he does. And so when we come to him and we read his word and we come to worship him, we need to understand that we're worshiping somebody who is worthy of it all. And so we're to exalt the mighty king. And so after reading this, where we should be at is that we know that we have a hard time in our own personal lives exalting a mighty king because we have other idols in our life. And this is what we see constantly throughout the Old Testament, is that they kept putting other people in front of God, which kept leading to their problems that they kept facing. What all the kings were doing, what the nation of Israel was doing, even though they knew what God expected, they kept living another way and exalting other things in their personal life instead of God and what he commanded them to do. And so we also understand that as we're exalting the king, this should lead us to a place of worship. And this is where exalting other things in our life becomes clear. And this is where the application comes from us, is that what are we exalting in our own personal lives, and how are we going to make sure we're exalting God and not other gods, little gods in our life? Because this will show and demonstrate the tenacity of our worship and the reality of our worship, because we all worship something. Either we're going to worship the God of the universe, or we're going to worship other things that we create. And so this verse, the reason why it stuck out to me is that what am I worshiping in my personal life? What are you worshiping in your personal life? Because when we're exalting God and we understand that he is fair, he loves justice, he is righteous in what he does, we come to the ending of the verse in verse 5 here, where it says, "Exalt the Lord our God, bow and worship at his footstool, for he is holy." And so when we come to worship, we are literally to come and lay ourselves down before him, because he is the only one he is worthy. Notice how that is worded here in these verses, that we see his character, and then we see the result of that, because we see who he is, then we exalt the Lord our God, and after we exalt him, we bow and worship because he is holy. And so what I encourage you to do today is that what are you worshiping in your personal life? What am I worshiping in my personal life? If it's not God, we have to ask ourselves, what is taking our worship from us? It could be positive things. It could be our family. It could be other things that we're good at. But if we're not taking and putting God first in our life and exalting him above everything else as king in our life, then we've created an idol, and we've created something that's going to be a problem. And so I encourage you today, and I challenge you, examine yourself today and find out, what are you exalting? Are you exalting other things in your life, other little gods, or are you exalting the God of the universe? And when we do that, we'll understand that he is worthy of worship because of how he is and who he is, and we can trust him in what he does. Be encouraged today as we go through and read the Bible. Tomorrow, I plan on reading Psalms 103 through 105. Have a good day, and I hope this is beneficial to you.